Oh, Mamacita, Mamacita, what's up? Thank you. Hey, I'm fashionably late, but you got to cut me some slack. I just got done from singing "Happy Birthday" to my 17-year-old daughter, now 17 officially today. So, yeah, we were gonna do a year-end special with my wife on the thing, but I don't know. She's like, "What do I have to add?" But anyway, that yeah. Pat, oh, dude, Michael, dude, don't send me money. Send money to people that need the money, not to this guy, okay? I'm doing well. Dude, we're on the cusp of being net worth millionaires. This is my hobby, a labor of love. I love the community. I love all of you connecting with everybody. And I kind of in a hurry here, so good, you see me. But before we get going, we're going to do some news. Look up Talk Stocks, what you're buying. Did you see silver going bananas? Silver is now the third most valuable asset in the world. That's crazy. Oh, I see you, Michael. Yeah, dude, you can't scare me like that. But no. So, funny story. You guys will like this. And I guess I could tie it into investing is that 17 years ago today, all was going well. My wife was going into labor overnight. They said no hurry. It was our second child and was feeding my 15-month-old, right? My kids are 15 months apart, feeding her breakfast. We're having a leisurely, they're like, take your time. The contractions are far enough apart. You get yourselves cleaned up, make your way to the hospital. And that didn't go according to plan. So, wife thought she was going to take a shower. Not to be gross, felt like she might have to use the bathroom. And then I hear her calling my name. Fast forward, go into her bathroom, and I see a crown, right? And she said, "We're going to go to the hospital." So, we're not going to do that. So I don't want to deliver a baby on the side of the road. So long story short, called 911, put the phone on speaker next to us. My daughter's freaking out, the 15-month-old. I'm using what I learned in the military, and this is something all of you should always remember, is that in any time there's a situation where you need to remain calm, you have to remain calm. I don't care how you do it, because if you panic, the worst of the worst can happen. If you panic, a bad situation can go to awful. So I just maintained my cool, listened to 911, to the dispatcher. They were walking me through. They're like, okay, well, until the paramedics get here. And yours truly was just a full on adrenaline, because all of a sudden our nice leisurely, get yourself ready to go to the hospital turned into, hey, you're delivering a baby now, right now, go. And there's really no backing out of it. So yeah, I not to make this too long and about me, but ended up delivering my daughter in our bathroom 17 years ago. And I just cut the umbilical, or I was just about to cut the umbilical cord, tied it off when the paramedics got here. And my wife actually delivered the baby, and they said wrap her up in towels, and my wife got her breathing. She wasn't breathing for a good 30 seconds or so. And then, yeah, so away we go. And 17 years later, here we are. So, well, Michael, I'll take the congratulations. You're 17 years late, because I'm talking about my daughter that turned 17 today. I delivered her in our bathroom in an emergency situation, not planned to be a home birth. And yeah, it's funny because I just remember screaming, where's the paramedics? Where are they? And I think from the time I called till they got to our house, it was 7 or 8 minutes. That's how quick my daughter came. But the moral of that story is, as human beings, we want to panic when we're in fight or flight. And I felt that. I felt like, deliver a baby now? No, thank you. I really don't want to do that. But obviously, what am I going to do? Leave my wife by herself to deliver a baby, So yeah, so we got through it together. And the one thing I told my 17-year-old, I remember about that night 17 years ago, is that I had the worst freaking headache ever from the adrenaline. So there you go. That's the story. And yeah, they're all like, oh, we'll be quiet, you're live. I'm because we got some family over, and I was like, you know what? You guys won't mind if you hear some people talking up there, Anyway, so with that, yes, it was a natural childbirth, completely unplanned. My wife is a hell of a trooper to give birth sitting on a toilet with zero anesthesia, nothing, freaking nothing. But she told me, she's like, well, yeah, I was full of adrenaline too. So that is, yeah. So anyway, crazy things, right? You never know what you're going to hear on this channel. What are you buying this week? Did I mention? Yeah, I mentioned silver. I think some of you are buying precious metals still, right? My God, it's just nutty. It's nutty that silver won't stop going up. Yours truly burned himself twice because if you remember Peter Schiff, Dr. Doom, some people call him, big gold bug, right after the great financial collapse. I didn't know what I know now. And he was all about, you got to buy precious metals. The market's going to collapse. You got to protect your family, protect yourself. Stock market's going away. And I sold retirement funds out of my 401k, paid the 10% penalty, and bought, I don't know, probably $5,000-$6,000 worth of gold and silver and a little platinum. And you know what? It sucked because all the precious metals, that was probably 2013, 14, it really did nothing for a long time while the market kept going up and up and up and up. So what happens here? I read Warren Buffett. Precious metals are not a cash flowing asset. They're a hedge against inflation, but they have no chance at capital appreciation. They have no cash flow component to them. An ounce of silver from 1,000 years ago will still be that exact same ounce of silver, pending that it doesn't get melted down or beaten, cut up. But 1,000 years from now, that will still be an ounce. It's not going to fart out little bits of gold dust that you can collect and melt down, right? It is inherently in and of itself a non-productive asset. So yours truly, January of 2023, sold almost all my precious metals, and yeah, it would have been nice. Again, it's not life-changing. I put that money into index funds and stocks, so those have gone up, paid dividends, so it's not a complete loss. But Michael, you bought more APO. What is APO? I don't remember APO. We'll take a peep in on that. I hope you guys like the newsletter. It's a little bit different format. I hope, yeah. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm just a little bit all over the place. How has your week been? Has your week been busy as well, like mine has? I don't even know how I got content done, quite honestly. We went to a play Friday night. My mother-in-law wanted to see Irving Berlin's White Christmas. It was a musical. Not my kind of thing, but I really enjoyed it. Pat, I saw your email. Thank you. I'm glad you liked it. It was about SCHD, and this is the thing you have to understand. And when I talked with Nicholas Brado, who's a writer on Seeking Alpha, he had said that you have to understand when you buy an ETF that you are buying its methodology. And the methodology with SCHD is when things perform very, very well and that dividend yield drops, like with Broadcom, it sells to buy stuff that has higher yield. So it is what it is, my sabbatical. So funny thing, Eddie, and I'm sure I can talk about it now, but the company I work for was acquired by a firm that buys, builds, and sells. So they infuse my company with cash to try and grow us bigger. And then they want to sell. They said they don't like to hold things for more than 5-6 years on the long end. And I got equity stake in that because I'm an awesome employee. I work my ass off. I'm always there at the ready, doing some of the crappiest jobs with a smile on my face. I make those in management, I make their job a hell of a lot easier. That's a great piece of advice for anybody that if you're not sure what to do, what can you do to make your boss's life and job much easier? So I've always done that. And they gave me something called, like with Portillo's, LLC units. So when it sells, I get, there's a set amount of LLC units, and I will get a decent chunk of change. So But the stipulation is that I have to be employed. I can't be fired. I can't quit. I can't die. God forbid, knock on Formica. I have to be employed there in order to receive compensation from the sale of the company I work at. So I am in effect an owner, but it's kind of like golden handcuffs. So I'm being paid to wait. Time frame on that should be anywhere in the next 2 to 4 years, probably on the high end. But put it this way, it very well should be six figures that I would receive from the sale of the company. So that's just extra money on top of what I'm getting paid to do. And you know what? It's going to keep me there. And in that time, I'm just going to keep building my net worth, doing what I can do to do that. So, oh, wow. The line was 2 hours long. We did have this conversation. Sorry, William. Alex Mack, he listens. He says that sometimes I read the comments in my mind, but William Black said, I went to my local cat coin shop yesterday. The line was 2 hours long. Seemed like a lot of people were selling. My wife's uncle said he wants to sell all his precious metal. So he had questions for me about it, and we had a nice chat. He never heard of Realty Income, by the way, either. He's retired, and he said he's, likes to trade around in his Roth, but he's looking for some things. And I was like, it's a REIT. He's like, a what? So, oh, Craig, what's up, man? Dude, your Eagles, what a win. Dude, they pulled it out. So, yeah, it's a lot of you. Thank you. John, yes, this is still the same house we have. We can comfortably afford this house, which was one of the hacks. We bought this house back in 2005, 2006, which is crazy. But if some of you might not remember, the market was rip, rock, roaring. And we got approved for, I feel like, just way more than I could afford. But I had the instinct, though, to be right, to not bite off more than we could chew. So this house has remained something comfortably that we can afford. So it is still the one. Yeah, Craig, any of you jumped on, I told the story. Here's the 2-second version. 17 years ago today, I delivered my youngest daughter in an emergency situation in my bathroom. So, Michael, you resuscitated your 21-month-old baby girl in 2002, and she managed to break through 3 barriers getting your pool. Oh my God, dude. That was when not panicking paid good results for all. Yeah, and that was the moral of the story that Michael just built on. Is it's so hard. It's easy to say it now, but just put this seed in your mind, because some of you will experience this. If there's ever a situation and you feel like panicking, just don't. Whatever you have to do, just don't. I don't know how else to describe it. And that's one of the things they taught us in the military, because if you panic, the odds, the percentage for something bad or worse to keep happening goes way up. So, but dude, I had a walk in the park compared to that. That is just awful. But I'm glad to hear that everything turned out. Oh, look at this. Chris, you joined me in starting a position in Uber. And yes, this is the thing. Now, I'm glad you said anytime it's under 80, you're buying, because my thought is it's been at 81. If it was 79.95, I would buy. But if it is at 80.95, I'm not inclined to buy. That's probably dumb. And that's something that I have to work on. Do you guys experience that? Do you do that to yourself? Because honestly, what's the difference? If one day it's at $130 a share, what's the freaking difference if you buy it at $79.95 or $80.95? It's really nothing. But the book club, I didn't get to participate, and I know it was Jillian Johns Rood's retire often and retire early and often, or retire often, something like that. So I did hear an interview with her on the deep end, I heard an interview with her on Choose FI some time ago. Matt, You might be buying more Procter and Gamble, Visa, and SCHD this week if you get your bills paid. Dude, the bills are first and foremost, right? But Procter and Gamble, probably a great time. I mean, it's getting we're getting caught up. Steve says silver is trading right now virtually 24/7 as a global commodity on various exchanges. Did not know this. Yeah, it's funny, and I know this from looking at silver prices that they fluctuate. They've always done that. The price of silver goes up and down, and all the precious metals. You got gold, silver, platinum, palladium, copper. You need some welding in the Philippines. Can you come here? Hey, if you're willing to pay me more than it would cost, it would cost way more for me to come to you. But yes, I know you're being funny, and I'd love to go to the PI sometime, my friend. But what do you need welded? Good sir. Do you need your portfolio welded? Doesn't even make any sense, right? I don't understand why that's happening, Dresh, because I sent it this morning. Pat got it. Other people got it. I'll have to look into that, man. I do not know what to say. Why you didn't get it? Maybe in your junk folder, your spam. But you can always go to dapperdividends.com, and there's a little tab at the top that says newsletter. Just click that, and they're all there. So, I mean, if you really wanted to. Vasco loaded the boat on realty income on the road to 20 shares. Hey, and you know what? I know some people didn't like when I said I was selling realty income. And I kind of suspect some people didn't watch the video or understand that I'm putting it into Agree Realty and Vici Properties. Yeah, I don't know why you guys didn't get them. That bothers me. That's bothering me that more people. All right, we can do news here in a minute. In a minute, we'll do the moves. Well, you say news you can use. I'm almost caught up with you guys in the comments, in the chat. Yeah, and you know what? I thought it was kind of fun and apropos that I told the story of delivering my daughter unplanned at home 17 years ago today. So I put a baby on the thumbnail, but it's also the baby, the new year. This is the last stream of 2025, but we were almost in the future there. But as Terry Smith said, people get so wrapped up into the calendar dates, which is just when I'm going to mess it up because I did on my talk with Ryan. I said, it's really just 365 days that it takes the earth to go around the sun. I think I said the sun to go around the earth. I was like, wow, what are we in the 1500s? But honestly, that doesn't always correlate to why a business is good or bad because of what happened in a 365-day period. So what if a company operates in, I don't know, 4.5-year cycles? It's not going to line up and be pretty, but who knows? Adam he's not selling his metals, doesn't think he'd be buying them now, except maybe be cautious. Yeah, I wish I was psychic. Obviously, Adam, when I sold in January of 23, I was looking at where silver was. When I sold silver, it was around, I think it was around $19 or $20. I almost said a share. No, maybe it was around 9, just a shade over 8, just at 19. And now it's like 83. But we're not psychic. You don't know what's going to happen in the future. The future is unknown and unknowable. Nobody knows nothing about the future. We all have guesses. And hey, as Barry Ritholtz says in what I got here in How Not to Invest, that all predictions are marketing. And it's kind of funny because, yeah, like if inherently nobody knows what's going to happen, anytime we make a prediction, it's literally just marketing. And he says, unfortunately, a lot of times predictions come with prediction, buy my course, buy my product, buy this, do that. So this is good. Black chai tea. All right. I'm curious. I'll get to the caught up here in a second. Can you guys hear upstairs? I'm just wondering what this microphone picks up. What was the best gift you got for Christmas? Let me know. What did I buy last week? Ray, it was 3 shares of Aries Capital, ticker ARCC, and it was at $19.80. I was going to say $18.90. No, it was at $19.80 a share, and I feel very compelled to buy Aries currently under $20.01 a share, because that is the current. If you look at the last quarterly report for Aries Capital, their net asset value is $20.01 per share. So it's getting a nice deal when you can pick up Aries under 20 bucks. So that's what I bought it. Jack, we talked a little silver. No idea where it's going, what's going to happen. It could go down just as fast. And maybe people are nervous about the AI bubble, or if there is a bubble. See, that's wrong to even say the AI bubble. We don't know if it's a bubble. It might be. It might not be. That's what makes life so freaking interesting. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Dividend Jace, what's up, man? Welcome back. Buying some more Vici and IVV. Beak, buying Uber tomorrow. Yeah, I think I might just do it and buy some more before the year end. Did you guys know that it's funny, you can pay for Uber with cash, and Uber is now doing car rental. So that is something. I listened to the earnings report or the earnings call, and I don't even remember hearing them talk about car rental. And then I get an email, because obviously I'm an Uber user, and just like that, crazy enough, freaking Uber rents cars. And look at this, the Bears defense just got a touchdown. How about that? I couldn't resist. I can't resist. I'm a junkie. I'm an addict. I mean, I got the magic fell apart. I got the Josh Allen, Wyoming shirt on. I was rubbing it for good luck. And hey, he came up a little bit short. But you know what? This one I like. This shirt is fun for me because my mother has lived in Laramie, Wyoming for about a little over 20 years now. And she works at work. She just retired 2 months ago from the University of Wyoming. She was there when Josh Allen was there. And she said, I remember her telling me about it. And big old party in Laramie, Wyoming when Allen got drafted by the Bills. So it's kind of cool. This is a combination of the Bills logo and the Wyoming Cowboys. So fun little, I don't think she ever met him. She worked office, but she had an office job with the university. Hey, nice to know we're not alone, Michael, the people that sold silver, but you held on longer than I did, and you got, you got better. Vasco, you don't buy at highs, 56. You wait for the 55s. Hey, I remember when it was 70. I was buying it in the 70s, and I sold covered calls on it, and I got the shares called away. But yeah, time horizon of 20 plus years, and it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Well, I would expect it to be fine. Not financial advice, right? I should put that disclaimer up. Dude, I love all you people. I'm going to go a little quick here to Adam. You bought Altria on Netflix because we got the news to do, but I love hearing what all you guys are buying. It helps me, helps anybody else in the chat. Did it really? It went from 8. Oh, so the volatility is picking way up then. I don't know, man. I wouldn't even want to try and time it now. That's interesting, Dresh. Thank you. So yeah, check your spam folders. I don't know why that would be happening. I guess I could Google it. Trivon, I'd love to know your guys' thoughts on this. This is something I'm struggling with or grappling with this week, is that my cost basis on Nike is a shade below $75, right? So we'll round it up with 74 and change. We'll just call it 75. I have 100 shares and it's not been pleasant. I've been souring on it, thinking that maybe the people like Brian Bollinger, who runs Simply Safe Dividends, saying that You know, it's it's a tough thing with fashion, even with companies like Nike or Adidas. Uh, I don't know. I I think I'd like to move on from it. Say, I guess I was wrong buying the fallen angels, but now would be a great time to tax loss harvest. But I wonder, are people tax loss harvesting? And that's creating selling pressure. And then Nike, after the first of the year, is going to rise. So, Trevon, with that, what I might do is I'm potentially going to sell. I'll think about it this week. Share your thoughts. Sell Nike, and then I can ship that money over to the. That would almost max out my Roth for the year. So that's something I'm thinking about doing because it's in a taxable account. So I'm thinking of selling it, taking the tax loss harvest, and then just shipping all that money to the Roth, buying more, little bits of VTI and uh, what few more maybe Visa we got over there. So some things like that. Billy, you're buying Nike. You haven't bought any of my shares yet. David, I don't know what nothing but in your mouth sounds means. So, oh, good. You see, that's what happens. I get worried because I asked you guys, and that's the weird thing about doing this is you ask a question and you talk, and then all of a sudden it's like you're like, what are they talking about? They're like, we're answering you, dummy. All right, a couple more as we're almost caught up here, just to share. Vasco's biggest challenge for 2026 is not being afraid to increase his average price in a stock, but he wants to rebalance his portfolio with more J&J, Merck, and Prologis, and continues to expect prices to fall. Wait, you continue to expect prices to fall forever? I don't know if you meant to say that, but I don't think the prices will fall forever. And if they did, I wouldn't be buying, right? Dude, Pat, come on. Best gift was waking up. Right. I like that, man. Nice. There'll be some nice Aries dividends. It shows Aries missed its last 5 earnings reports. Same with Realty Income. I don't know about TradingView, but I guess we could. Well, I don't know. If they did miss again, did they miss earnings reports or did the estimates miss earnings? Right. So, because that's kind of a fun thought. The earnings are the earnings. They can't miss. How can the earnings miss if I don't know if I expect that I think you know what I'm saying, but good luck with those tulip futures, John. Best gift Matt got was from his girlfriend. It was a new Bible. Very cool. Now, is that what is now? We'll look up now. Throw that on the list. Going to big Coop. What's up, Coop? Gonna go big into EPD once they hit 26. I did have a good Christmas, Mr. Ortiz. It's been busy. Google says Uber rents cars through its app by partnering with rental companies. That's interesting. So I didn't even get time to research it. I just saw the email that said, hey, use your Uber app and rent cars. Well, hey, if you can handle it, good luck with the crack rock. I hope it's clean for you. But quite honestly, I would be long VGT and completely short the crack rock. I wouldn't. Yeah, I did hear Ray that Tim Cook bought 3 million shares. He is the director of the compensation committee, I think. So, yeah, I joked on Blossom, hey, maybe he's trying to create a buying pressure upwards so he can get out. Maybe he's. And you know what, Michael, I might just wait until the first of the year because we can roll. You can roll tax loss harvests forward anyways. So if I sell 2 days before the new year or 2 weeks after the new year, you know what? I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference, but okay, good. You're good. That's what I was thinking, man. If you expected prices to continue to fall, I would say, what the hell are you doing? All right. So clarifying, they missed their earning estimates, but their revenue hasn't really increased at all. So some companies, because of interest rates increasing, right? They are, or no, interest rates cutting. It's pressure on companies like Ares Capital Realty. Now, Realty Income, it should be better for, but the companies that loan out money should theoretically mean that they will bring less revenue in. But again, I'm buying, they should be able to keep covering the dividend, Ares Capital. You don't want to make it a massive part of your portfolio because you got that single stock risk. So overly diversifying, hey, could not be a good thing. And yeah, the thing about a lot of the better quality BDCs is that when they went through zero interest rate, right? They still paid a dividend. They still made money. They were still profitable. So like all things, again, we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but that is a fun thought though, where we say they missed their earnings estimate. And I think that estimates missed earnings because the earnings can't miss. They will be what they will be. It's just everybody wants to predict the future. So, all right, here we go. Now it's time for news. We made it. We'll hop off here, hop over here, and share with you guys the news. So it took me a minute here to get, if I could do something here. I don't know. On my MacBook, I can split the screen. And I just don't want to close this because if I ever close this tab for StreamYard, I don't know if I can hop back in. I think it would just end the stream. So let's do it anyway. Let's go for broke. I don't want to mess around. I could screw it up. You could hear it's like two devils and angels fighting on my here we go, latest on my shoulder. I think we left off not in December 12th. So we did a lot of these. We did waste management. There wasn't too much news this week. Yeah, because we talked about Pfizer. Anybody buying Pfizer? Anybody sticking with them? Franklin, Mid-America, we did. There we go. We are almost, all right, here we are. Only a couple of them. Wow. First of all, company that I use chemicals. I use air products. Well, maybe not theirs, but I use compressed gases for oxygen and acetylene, but their dividend got downgraded as clean energy bets weigh on cash flow. So they're investing heavier into clean energy, but we don't know if that will provide the boost in revenue that they think it will. So that's interesting. I think Kevin Burgess was buying APD. And then that was it. The second to last, Vici Properties, they reaffirmed their safety score of 50 borderline safe because, yes, regional gaming headwinds, that less people are going to casinos in localities and Vegas. It's kind of down everywhere. Maybe that's a portent of a impending recession. Who knows? But right, they'll say that you don't know that we're in a recession till we're almost out of it. Anyway, that's it. 2 news stories. How about that? I don't remember what APO was. Oh, Apollo Global Management. I think Apollo bought Yahoo, right? And some other things. 60 borderline safe, strong credit rating. Let's see what they own. That doesn't say. I know once upon a time they did buy. They also were part of the RJR Nabisco, I think, right? Apollo and KKR were. But this is what is this? Is this a BDC? No, just Diversified Financial Services. So it's not a BDC because the dividend is qualified. But yeah, 2 years increase. Yeah, they do a lot of cutting, but hey, the trend of the dividend is up. Oh, they cut before COVID. Yeah, I don't know if this is you're chasing yield, but it looks like it could be at a time where it is a little bit overvalued. So I know I'm going quick here, but just looks all right. I've never dug into them, so I can't really speak very intelligently on them. But negative sales growth. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? Sales growth goes from negative 22% to 162, 195, negative 19. So their sales do get choppy. So I wonder if they made a big buy there in 22. They issued a whole bunch of shares. So I don't know enough about it. I don't remember who asked about that. Their debt's not too bad, so that's a plus. Actually, here, let's see what Seeking Alpha says on Apollo. APO. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? The quant gives it a hold. And buys, holds, buys. It's got a mixed bag between hold and buy. So worst case, it looks like hold. And then now. Service Now. Oh, I've heard. Yeah, Service Now. They I talked to my boss about them. I did hear about them somewhere. Was their CEO? I think he might have been on Kramer interview with them. That's a hold. So it does sound like an interesting business. You get some strong buy. I love this when they're all over. Sell, strong buy, and buy. But they do. I know they don't pay a dividend, which doesn't mean you can't buy them. Let's see. I thought it was like the Now Vitamins. Strong credit rating. Digital workflow. So they help companies manage paperwork, scheduling calls, handling clients, doing the AI will help routing technicians, all those sorts of things. That's very much in my wheelhouse. So look at that. I mean, my boss did say that we looked at ServiceNow, but he said it was very expensive. So maybe you get what you pay for. But sales growth has been declining. But other than that, still a little bit of dilution. There was something I didn't like. Maybe their debt. Sales have just, look at that. Beautiful. Yeah, Reich, return on invested capital going up. Sorry if I'm going fast here to some of you watching, but this is now ServiceNow. They don't pay a dividend. No net debt. Just okay, I think. I don't know. Let's see what you guys have to say. And let us know what you're buying. If you haven't already put it in. APD story gets, what is that? What do you mean? Vasco wants to sell Pfizer when it reaches the green. Yeah, I hope you guys liked that video I did today. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the hell out of that, reading that stat that 1.3%. This is going back to the 90s that Hendrik Bessenbinder and a few others did a study that showed that going back to the 90s from, I think it might have been 1990 to 2016, 1.3% of publicly traded companies were responsible for almost all the gains of the entire stock market. So it's so important if you want to be a very successful investor to be able to capture those companies. And that's why they were saying that, yes, I know a lot of people don't like indexing, but you automatically own those companies. Otherwise, you would have like a 1 in 75 shot of finding those companies before they get really big, getting in early. But then with market cap weighting, as those companies get bigger, more dollars automatically flow into them. Yes, I know some people say that's a problem. They don't like the market cap weighting, but you know what? It'll be what it'll be. And the way I see it is if all the tech companies fall out of bed, well, new companies will replace them and they'll be at the top. So you're always going to have companies at the top of the market cap weighting structure driving the bulk of the returns of the market. So, oh, gotcha. APD story gets better every time they get a downgrade. I gotcha. John, you're buying ConAgra and Flowers Foods, both beating down value. Yeah, we can look, man. We'll look at, because it's tempting. I think so. What's up? Look at Doc. Doc, you missed the story about how I delivered my 17-year-old daughter 17 years ago today. I hope it was 17 years ago today. That would be pretty impressive if it was anything other, right? Oh, the the chat gets ahead of you. I gotcha. I was like the Chad. Hey, we don't want no hanging Chads around here. For those of you that remember the whole hanging Chads, who was that? I don't even remember who was that. Bush, Bush two. I think Bush two and Gore was it with the hanging Chads or something. I don't remember who that was. Kevin will remember. Kevin's a gentleman that has a slightly more advanced age than I do. Yeah, and Kevin, I was sharing with everybody. I was a few minutes late. I almost pulled a Kevin Burgess. I remember that time he was like, oh, I was sitting on the couch with my wife watching TV, and I thought, oh, I feel like there's something I should be doing. It's like 7:15 or whatever. But yeah, Kevin, I delivered my daughter today, 17 years ago, and I told the story. Thank you. Bush and Gore in Florida. So yeah, the hanging Chads, goofiness. All right, let's look up for John because he's a loyal listener. He wants to look up. Whoop! I got to bring you wit. He wants to look up two companies. Does Mr. John? All right, John. Here you go. So you were wondering about ConAgra and Flowers Foods. Flowers Foods, by the way. Oh, I'm thinking of J&J Snack Foods, not Flowers Foods. They have a fun website. Maybe I'll pull it up and we'll look. We'll peep in on their website. But ConAgra, holy hell, their dividends at 8%. I think we've talked about this. Don't they own Birdseye? Yeah, so ConAgra owns Healthy Choice, Hunt's, Birdseye, Slim Jim, and Pam. But they struggle to regain, they got a dividend downgrade. They struggle to regain volume amid cost pressures and shifting consumer trends. Yeah, just because these companies have been around forever doesn't mean, looks like their dividend's frozen. So they have a frozen dividend at $1.40 per share per year. Ugh. Yeah, that's crazy. So John, the market is telling you when they have a 5-year average dividend yield of 4% and it's currently at 8%, the market is saying, we think there's something really wrong with this company. And if you want to own them, you're going to have to take on a lot more risk. So, buddy, I would just, let's see if we can tell from the, holy crap, it's down to $17 a share. All right, free cash flow payout ratio is climbing. Obviously, management froze the dividend, so they're not confident. But that's that's trending in the wrong direction. Free cash flow is falling. Earnings per share is falling. Sales growth is negative and getting worse. Earnings per share growth is negative and getting worse. Sales are declining. They're bought back a few million shares. Margins are meh. Free cash flow has been falling. Operating margin, which is EBIT, is falling. I mean, their net debt has come down a little bit, but yeah, and they have low interest coverage ratio. Man, I don't know. Not for me. That's too much buckets of yucks for this guy. Well, let's see what the Seeking Alpha Quant says. Do they get the hold? So all across the board hold, and some of the analysts think it's a couple buys, couple sells, couple buys. So hey, Gen Alpha thinks buy this 8% yield at a bargain basement valuation. And then we'll start here and work our way backwards just to see what Flowers Foods is. Yeah, even worse, John. My God. You get a sell, a hold, and a sell from the quant. Red all over everywhere. Dividend cut more likely after Q3 25 results. Well, Paul Frank just gives it a strong buy in September, though. But this doesn't have as much coverage. So that So the two recents are sells, and let's check out what we can find over here. So I think Flowers, they have Dave's Killer Bread. Right? Oh my God, John. This one's even worse. Dividend yield is 9%, and it is nosebleed levels above the 5-year average. They own, Nature's Own, Dave's Killer Bread, Wonder Bread, and Tasty Cake. Oh, the Tasty Cake. They're still growing the dividend, but let's see how they're funding it. Survey says, are they funding that dividend with debt? We'll find out in a second. Stay tuned. Appears speculative, $10 a share. So the 5-year average is 3.68% and is currently at 9.1%. So the market is screaming loud and clear. We think this dividend's getting cut. This company is in trouble right now. There you go. Free cash flow payout ratio has come down a bit. It was stupidly high. Free cash flow per share, that's good. That's a good trend, still going up. Hey, at least they have negative or zero sales growth. So it's better than negative share. They don't buy back shares. Sales have flattened off the revenue. Margins actually, I kind of like this better than ConAgra for all the hate that Seeking Alpha gave it. But there is the net debt is climbing and the interest coverage ratio has fallen. So that's something you're going to have to keep an eye on, John. But they're still able to cover that dividend with free cash flow. So, and then because I promised it, and I think it's fun, we'll just get a safety score on J&J Snack Foods. I've done them in a few videos. There you go, John. We're learning live here. 90, very safe, but they also have a very high dividend yield. They look like they could be undervalued, and I'll show you in a second what products they own. They're still growing the dividend, 20 years. And we'll go really quick here if you wanted to see this. So the market, all these consumer packaged goods companies are struggling right now. Their free cash flow payout ratio is flat free cash flow per share, 1% sales growth. Hey, better than negative or zero. Flat sales. We want growing sales. I don't know. I feel like you're maybe dumpster diving, John, but this was a long look on a few. Yeah, margins are just meh. They have low net debt. And then because I promised, let me see if I can bring it up. Let's see, Flowers Foods. Pull this up. And here you go. Flowers Foods, everybody. Oh, no, not Flowers Foods. That's not what I wanted. Jiminy Christmas. Hold on. I wanted J&J Snack Foods. Yeah, we already know, guy. Let me pull it up. All right, here we go. This is the one. As we're waiting here to come on up. Hey, look at that. Who's hungry? J&J Snack Foods, you got. They have a little, of course, leave it to me to get where's investors? Here you go. Here's the brands. They had them scrolling by, or they used to. Come on. Anyway, there you go. Bavarian. Luigi's Real Italian Ice. But they got Icy and Super Pretzel and Dippin' Dots and Ola Churros. So, an Oreo Churros. Jesus criminy. I don't know how to get to that. Anyway, so maybe I was here. There was a thing with their products where they would, So there you go. They make junk food. This was in a Hot Pocket. Hot Pocket. No, it's Supreme Stuffers. They can't use Hot Pocket. Anyway, who makes Hot Pocket? All right. Kevin's spending his millions. Yeah. You're for 5-ish years now been a single pop. Dude, I hope you're making the best of it. Would I deliver again? No, no, because it was not something I had intended or planned on doing. I don't want to tell the whole story again. It was just we were going to go to the hospital and the baby came very quickly. So yeah, I had to do that while the paramedics were taking their sweet ass time getting here. You know what? We can real quick look at BLK, Mr. Very quick. Let me caught up in these comments here. Kevin. All right, everybody. You heard it here first. Kevin's getting back to the live stream tomorrow night. Expensive stocks. Melly, I've never looked at Mercado Libre, but I do know a lot of people in the community like them. So when things look as bad as ConAgra, yeah, I haven't dug into those deep. So good. Kevin, Adam thinks it's a good time to pick up ConAgra. Could be. It very well could be. Alan's friends with Dave from Dave's Killer Bread, I assume. Oh, dude, thank you so much. I don't think we've talked before. I've been watching your Sunday show for a few months, but first time catching you live. Thoughts on NOMD? Dude, we'll do NOMD for you. Even if I go a few minutes long for you, my friend. I almost said my guy, but I don't know. I don't know your gender, but Adam, thank you so much for watching everything. Let's look at those two for our friends here. We'll look at BlackRock. BlackRock. But as always, you get more real estate. Let's see, BlackRock. As I buy more time. 98, very safe. Dividend yield is below the 5-year average. So they've been doing very well. And hey, eventually I'm going to buy stuff that's going up instead of looking for these fallen angels. But to go quickly through it, screenshot this if you want to see anything a little bit more in depth or study it. Dividend growth is slowed down. There you go, $20.84 per share per year. Some people are like $1,000 a share. That's so expensive. Well, not quite when there's not a lot of shares outstanding. And you'll see in a second here. So it's, yeah, looking at the forward PE, it's probably fair value for it, quite honestly. Yeah, free payout ratios, it's been there before with the free cash flow payout ratio. Yeah, next 12 months expected a massive amount of free cash flow per share. I think they were getting involved in some things, right, that are going to contribute to that. Again, I've never dug deep into BlackRock. I think Jeremy from Dividend Stockpile owns BlackRock. Hit up his channel. Just go to any random video and say, hey, dude, give me your thoughts. Or Facebook, maybe. I don't know. What are we doing? Sales? Yeah, still going up. For the first time in a while, they actually increased their share count. I wonder why. Margins, high single digits. For the return on invested capital. Just going quick here. Yeah, I mean, it's just a solid company. Otherwise, why it gets such a strong safety score. The interest coverage ratio has been declining a little bit, though. So that is interesting. And then because I like you, let me pull it up on Seeking Alpha and see what they give for BlackRock. Hold. The quant gives it a hold, and some of the more recent analysis is, here you go. BlackRock owns the world from treading softly, gives it a buy, and then some holds. Yeah, world-class cash machine, priced correctly. So that was December. And yeah, it looked like it was probably at fair value. You get a sell there. So these are just the headlines, obviously. But there's that. And then for you, my longtime watching friend, NOMD, Nomad Foods Limited, have not heard of them. You got all over the place. The analysts on Seeking Alpha give it a buy. Wall Street a strong buy. The quant for Seeking Alpha gives it a hold. Again, I've never looked into them, so hopefully just the headlines can give you a little bit of a flavor, like don't bet on shareholder returns to continue, sell. And then from October, you get a strong buy and a bunch of holds. So there you go with that. And then let's see what they're looking like on Simply Safe Dividends. Dividend yield of 5.5%. Fast dividend growth. They're in the UK. Yeah, that would make sense why I've never heard of them, but oh, look at that. We have another bird's eye. That's two bird's eyes. Aunt Bessie's, Goodfellas, La Cocinera, the kitchen or something like that, right? Headed and walking. All right, so they just started paying a dividend in what, 2022, 23? Yeah, 2024 apparently. All right, well, or that's what this says, which it could be spotty because it's a foreign company, but real quick here, low free cash flow payout ratio of 30%, so they can easily cover the dividend with their free cash flow per share. Sales has been declining a little bit. Boy, this is the CPG show, huh? The consumer packaged goods, packaged foods. Buy back shares. Total sales, petered out a little bit here, around 3 billion, 3.1 billion. Yeah, just my amateur view here. I mean, just margins are okay for a foods company. They're not going to be like Nvidia or Visa. Net debt, not too bad. So, yeah, interest coverage ratio, a little bit low. And again, if anybody's just jumped on and you don't know what ICR is, this is the interest coverage ratio. It tells you how many dollars of operating income, also known as EBIT, the earnings before interest and taxes, does a company have to cover every $1 of interest on the debt. Currently, Nomad has $3.26 of operating income to cover every $1 of interest on the debt. Not a lot of wiggle room. You want to see that 5, 6. The higher, the better, because if there's a sudden drop in that operating earnings, then they don't have to worry about not being able to pay the interest on the debt. Why? Well, if you don't pay the interest on the debt, then you legally have to, and bad things are going to happen. And Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas. All righty. What are you guys doing? Are they leaving?
Yeah, because the roads are going to turn to ice.
The roads are going to turn to ice. You hear that, everybody? My God. It's rained all day here. So excited. It's going to be like -6 real feel tomorrow in the Chicagoland area. All right. Michael, I got to put that on there. Yeah. Heart rate was out of the universe. Dude, my man, everybody take a breath. Hoping AVG goes to 600. And yeah, what are you going to do? You don't control it. All we do is watch. So make sure, Bears fans, you all watch harder. Like, just watch harder. Be better watchers. So, all right, with that, thank you. Oh, you know what? Hold on here. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. See if I can do this. I didn't preload my Pee-wee here. Oh, all right. I guess I can do this. It's gonna shut off. So everybody, Doc, you're buying more Vici. All right, tell us about it next time. Tux Cat, thanks for popping on by, and everybody, I love you. I hope you have a happy and safe New Year's. Please don't drive. Use Uber. It's a great company. Getting people where they need to be. Lyft, whatever you have to do. Just be a little bit smart and plan ahead of time. So I guess I'll see you guys in the new year. So cheers, salute, and have a very happy and safe new year. Thank you so very much for hanging out once again.